Jai Sai Ram. Sri Sai Satcharitra, Chapter 7, Part 2. Behavior of Sai Baba. Fool that I am, I cannot describe Baba's miracles. He got almost all the temples in Shirdi repaired. Through Tatya Patil, the temples of Shani, Ganapati, Shankar Parvati, village deity, and Maruti were put in order. His charity was also remarkable. The money he used to collect as dakshina was freely distributed, rupees 20 to some, rupees 15 or 50 to others every day. The recipients thought that this was pure charity money, and Baba wished that it should be usefully employed. People were immensely benefited by having a darshana of Baba. Some became hale and hearty. Wicked people were turned into good ones. Kushta was cured in some cases. Many got their desires fulfilled. Without any drops or medicine being put in the eyes, some blind men got back their sights, and some lame ones got their legs. Nobody could see the end of his extraordinary greatness. His fame spread far and wide, and pilgrims from all sides flocked to Shirdi. Baba sat always near the Dhuni and eased himself there, and always sat in meditation, sometimes with and on other times without a bath. He used to tie a white turban on his head and wear a clean dhota round his waist and a shirt on his body. This was his dress in the beginning. He started practicing medicine in the village, examined patients and gave medicines. He was always successful, and he became famous as a hakim, that is doctor. A curious case may be narrated here. One devotee got his eyeballs quite red and swollen. No doctor was available in Shirdi. The other devotees took him to Baba. Other doctors would use ointments, unguents, cow's milk, or comfort drugs, etc. in such cases. Baba remedy was quite unique. He pounded some biba, some corpus anacardium, that is marking nuts, and made 2 balls of them, thrust them on in each eye of the patient and wrapped in a cloth bandage round them. Next day, the bandage was removed and water was poured over them in a stream. The inflammation subsided and the pupils became white and clear. Though the eyes are very delicate, the biba caused no smarting, but removed the disease of the eyes. Many such cases were cured, and this is only an instance to point. Baba's yogic practices. Baba knew all the process and practice of yoga. 2 of them will be described here. Dauti or cleaning process. Baba went to the well near a banyan tree at a considerable distance from masjid every 3rd day and washed his mouth and had a bath. On one occasion, he was seen to vomit out his intestines, clean them inside and outside, and place them on a jump tree for drying. There are persons in Shirdi who have actually seen this and who have testified to this fact. Ordinary dhoti is done by moistening piece of linen 3 inches broad and 22 inches long. This piece is gulped down the throat and allowed to remain in the stomach for about half an hour for being reacted there and then taken out. But Baba's dhoti was a quite unique and extraordinary process. Kanda Yoga. In this practice, Baba extracted the various limbs from his body and left them separately at different places in the masjid. Once a gentleman went to the masjid and saw the limbs of Baba lying separately at separate places. He was much terrified, and he first thought of running to the village officers and informing them of Baba being hacked to pieces and murdered. He thought that he would be held responsible as he was the first informant and knew something about the affair. So he kept silent, but next day when he went to the masjid, he was very much surprised to see Baba hale and hearty and sound as before. He thought that what he had seen the previous day was only a dream. Baba practiced yoga since his infancy, and nobody knew or guessed the proficiency attained. He charged no fees for his cures, became renowned and famous by virtue of his merits, gave health to many a poor and suffering persons. This famous doctor of doctors carved not for his interests, but always worked for the good and welfare of others, himself suffering unbearable and terrible pain many a time in the process. One such instance is given below, which will show the all pervasiveness and most merciful character of Sai Baba. Baba's all pervasiveness and mercy. In the year 1910 AD, Baba was sitting near the Dhuni on Diwali holiday and warming himself. He was pushing the firewood into the Dhuni, which was brightly burning. A little later, instead of pushing logs of woods, Baba pushed his arm into the Dhuni. The arm was scorched and burnt immediately. This was noticed by the servant Madhava and also by Madhavrao Deshpande, Shama. They at once ran to Baba, and Madhavrao clasped Baba by his waist from behind and dragged him forcibly backward and asked, Deva, for what have you done this? Then Baba came to his senses and replied, the wife of a blacksmith at some distant place was working the bellows of a furnace. Her husband called her. Forgetting that her child was on her waist, she ran hastily and the child slipped into the furnace. I immediately thrust my hand into the furnace and saved the child. I do not mind my arm being burnt, but I am glad that the life of the child is saved. Jai Sai Ram.